this video, we're going to discuss about the Big 5 personality test, otherwise known as the 5-factor model. This is a personality test that's widely used as a psychological tool that's going to measure an individual's personality traits across 5 dimensions. And that includes openness, conscientiousness, extraversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. And why do I find this test important? Because if you take this test, it can enhance your self-awareness, and you can actually understand your partner, which is wow, that's great, yeah? You can actually identify the areas that you guys can be engaged in conflict, or whether you are compatible with a person. Partners can actually leverage an understanding to improve communication and to build a stronger relationship, and to be able to have empathy with one another and to respect one another. So you can find out how open they are to experience, what's their conscientiousness level, to see what type of person they are, whether they're reliable, whether they're organized, whether they're responsible. You can see their extraversion, if they're outgoing, if they like socializing, or if you're more of a person that likes to spend time alone. How do you agree? If you're kind, if you're cooperative, if you're empathetic, or if you're argumentative as a person. And you find out a person's neuroticism. Is it a person that's sensitive to stress? Are they anxious? Are they emotionally stable? It's really, really beneficial if couples take this test so they can better understand themselves and each other, and to identify areas of compatibility or potential conflicts. If I were to recommend to you, I would go through Jordan Peterson. So you can just go to his website, which is called, you can take this test at understandmyself.com. And in addition, if you want to see an example of what it is, Jordan Peterson has a lovely video on YouTube, and it's called The Couples Report, and Jordan and Tammy Peterson, and it's episode 226. So I highly recommend you see what it's all about. And you can just find the test through the website Understand Myself, and you can take it alone, or if you want, you can take it with your partner. And it's something that I really recommend for people. When you do the test on Jordan Peterson's site, you're gonna get the result, and you can get to compare how you stand in comparison to other people that have taken the test in the general population. And you can see their major traits and other aspects. And I was quite surprised when I did mine, and my results are the following. When it comes to agreeableness, compassion, and politeness, I scored moderately low, 35th out of the population. My low agreeableness suggests that I may be more competitive and less concerned about pleasing others, and I might prioritize my own goals or needs over those others, and may not shy away from confrontation or assertiveness. It says that I can feel empathy and concern for others, but I may not go out of my way to help them. They may not particularly be particularly altruistic or self-sacrificing, but also not indifferent or callous towards others, and it's certainly correct. Then it talks about my politeness, and my politeness is moderately low. It's ranked on the 32nd percentile compared to the population, and it suggests that I do not place a high value on traditional social norms and etiquette. So I might be more direct and honest in my communication, even if it is considered impolite or rude by others. Absolutely. That is absolutely. They may also be more willing to challenge authority or speak up for themselves. Absolutely. Even if it goes against social expectations. Yes, absolutely. Let's look at conscientiousness. I scored very high, 91. Approximately 9% of people who have this score that are on the 91st percentile means they're more conscientious than about 90% of the population. That's amazing, yeah? This conscientiousness is a measure of my obligation, my attention to detail, hard work and persistence, cleanliness, efficiency, and adherence to rules, standards, and processes. So we implement plans and establish and maintain order. And it's divided into 2 aspects, industriousness and orderliness. I scored exceptionally high, 98th in my industriousness, and it shows that I am strikingly dutiful. I work uncommonly hard, and I hate wasting time, absolutely. They're very unlikely to procrastinate. And if a very conscientious person promises to do something, he or she will do it regardless of circumstances and without finding excuses. They are uncommonly decisive, neat, organized, future-oriented, and reliable. They're not easily distracted, absolutely. It also denotes here that people that are very high in conscientiousness, they are highly likely to obtain good grades in academic settings, particularly if they're also intelligent, and they make very good administrators and managers, absolutely, because I have a leadership role. I have my own businesses. They must have everything in its proper place, which has advantages and disadvantages, and are likely to be over-concerned with detail. Absolutely. I'm a perfectionist, and I look at the details everywhere in my life. They do things by the book. Conscientious people are also strikingly guilt-prone, although they will organize their lives so they have little to feel guilty about. Right, in the way that I am in my life right now, I do not feel guilty about anything. It also says that very high conscientious people are also hyper-susceptible to shame, self-disgust, and self-contempt. Absolutely not. I don't have this. I've overcome that through the mind getting over these things. Individuals who are very high in conscientiousness react badly to failure, particularly if they're high in neuroticism. I am very low. I'm 0 in neuroticism, less than 0. They can be judgmental and are disgusted by their own moral transgressions as well as others. I would say this is true because I do get disgusted how people operate, and even I'm a hard worker, so I put pressure on myself with a lot of things. This thing, they suffer high levels of shame and guilt when unemployed or otherwise unoccupied. Absolutely, because I don't like to be a bum. I need to be resourceful and useful, but I do not feel shame and guilt. But I could understand what it's saying, because I'd never want to be without being useful in something. So I would never be able to be unemployed or unoccupied with something. My mind always needs to be stimulated. We are committed to personal responsibility. Absolutely. We are the type of people who perceive that working hard should and will be rewarded. Absolutely. And those who don't work hard and strive deserve their failure. Absolutely. I believe in all of this. This is me. This is part of my personality. If you don't work hard, you deserve your failure. They can be over-concerned with hygiene, moral, purity, and achievement. 1,000,000%. And they can be micromanaging and controlling. Yes, I guess so I can be. Yeah, I can be a little bit of a control freak. Very conscientious people are more likely to be politically conservatives rather than liberal, particularly if they're low in openness. I'm high in openness, so this doesn't apply for me. I don't engage myself in political situations, but I guess everything has to do with politics. The most fascinating thing is that women are very slightly more conscientious than men. So that means that for a woman in a general population, it was an average of 51.5, and for men it was 49.5, and I scored bloody 91. So you can see I am way more than average, like such a high score of conscientiousness. So if you compare that to the general population, I don't think like the average people think. I am different. My personality is way different. So if a woman is 51.5 and that is the normal woman out there, I am 91. The typical average man is 49.5 and I am a 91. So I don't think like the general women and I don't think like the general men. I'm very, very high in my conscientiousness compared to the population. So my industriousness, as I said, is very high. Orderliness. I'm neither particularly disturbed nor disgusted by mess and chaos. I keep everything tidy and organized. They don't think in terms of simple black and white. They're more shades of gray, absolutely. They don't rely over much on schedule, lists, or routines, preferring to take things as they come. Many times in my life, absolutely. They are not overly oriented towards detail, rigidity, rule-abiding, or judgmental. Absolutely. I do like detail, but I don't rigidly abide to the rules of rigidity or being judgmental about things. I can let things go. Let's go to my extraversion. I am exceptionally high, 96th in my extraversion. I am an exceptionally high in extraversion. So it is the primary dimension of positive emotion in the personality test. So it shows a measure of general sensitivity to positive emotions. So I am hopeful, joyous, I anticipate, and I approach, particularly in social situations. And there's two aspects that are part of the extraversion, which is enthusiasm and assertiveness. So as I said, I'm on the 96 score. So if I were one of the 100 people in a room, I would be higher in extraversion than 96 of them and lower in extraversion than 3 of them. People like me with exceptionally high extraversion are extremely enthusiastic, talkative, assertive in social situations, and gregarious. They're usually energized by social contact and they crave it. They take exceptional pleasure in planning parties. I don't like to plan parties. Telling jokes, absolutely, and they make people laugh, 1,000,000%, and they take part in community activities, absolutely. They are extremely likely to have positive memories of the past, absolutely, and their high levels of self-esteem, especially if they're low in neuroticism, that's me. So I have high levels of self-esteem, and I have a tremendous optimism about the future. That's true. So people who are exceptionally extroverted have a remarkable difficult time keeping things to themselves and tend to tell everyone everything. I like to discuss things. I don't keep things to myself. So what I think, I put it out there. So yeah, I'm extroverted in all aspects of my life. And I warm up very quickly to other people. Absolutely, I am a people's person. I am usually the one that speaks first and most in meetings, absolutely. I am extremely captivating and convincing. This is what it says here. Yes, I think I am. And they will be the first to act exceptionally often. People like me that are exceptionally high in extroversion, they make very enthusiastic employees. So you would love to have a person like me in your company. We are well suited for jobs involving sales, persuasion, working in groups and public speaking, particularly once again if they are low in neuroticism. And that is what I am. Conversely, they are very bad suited to occupations that require a lot of isolated work, such as computer programming or accounting. Absolutely. That is very, very boring for me. So we can also be exceedingly impulsive, particularly when it comes to having fun in social situations. Absolutely. They are exceptionally likely to sacrifice the future to the present when something social or group-oriented beckons. It's hard for them to be alone and to study and work. Yeah, I like to study alone and I like to work alone, but I'm usually a person that likes to be surrounded by people. and to discuss things. They can be exceptionally easily distracted by opportunities to chat, joke, and socialize. Yes, because even in my leadership role, I still all do those things. I chat, I joke, and I socialize. When individuals are extroverted and conscientious, they are more productive than if they are introverted and conscientious. Absolutely. Women are slightly more extroverted than men. The mean percentile for women in the general population is 52, and for men it's 48. And for me, oh my God, I am 96. So I don't compare to men and I don't compare with women. I'm a complete extroverted individual that is very different. Yes. My enthusiasm is moderately high. That's my aspect of my extroversion and my assertiveness. My enthusiasm is around the 70th% for enthusiasm. So I would be higher in if I was with 100 people in a room, I would be higher in enthusiasm than 70 of them and lower in enthusiasm than 29 of them. Yeah. So we are excitable, happy, and easier to get to know. They will talk more about everything, particularly other people. Yes, because I love to talk about people. I like to dissect people and analyze people than the typical person. So I observe behaviors, I observe everything about a person, and I usually know, I know about people. I laugh and giggle more than average. Absolutely. My life is a clown. I live to laugh and to giggle. They would rather spend time around other people than alone. Absolutely. I do love to socialize. Socializing is very, very important for me, but I also love my alone time. But I am a social creature. And they tend to like parties. Well, I used to tend to like parties, not so much anymore. They don't generally keep people at a distance. No, I don't. And are not too concerned with keeping things private. I don't care about privacy. There's nothing that I find private about my life. I can talk about anything and anything you want. There are no taboos here. We can talk about anything that you want. I'm open to everything and talking to everything and any kind of subject. So they are comparatively positive and optimistic. Absolutely. They warm up quickly to other people. They like stimulation, excitement, activity, and fun. So enthusiastic people are gregarious, encouraging, and people-loving, and they tend to be quite positive about what might happen next. Absolutely. I am the encouraging of the encouraging, and I love people. It's so bloody true. I wish I could hate them, but I love them. So women are higher in enthusiasm than men, and we said that before. The woman was 55, the man was 45, and me, the little weirdo, was moderately high 70. Okay, I'm still bloody high, but there's people that are higher than me, so yeah, at least there. Let's go to assertiveness. Exceptionally high, 99%. So if I were with 100 people in a room, I would be higher in assertiveness than 99 of them and lower in assertiveness than 0 of them. So I'm the most confident person in the room. Assertiveness is exceptionally high. So we are people, exceptionally assertive people are the take charge types. They put their own opinions forward extremely strongly and constantly dominate and control social situations. Absolutely. Exceptionally assertive people can be extremely influential and captivating. Yeah. I influence people, but they don't show it. But I can captivate you. They have a communication style that is often associated with leadership. Absolutely. I'm a bloody leader. And I first lead my life, and then I am able to lead others. And this is good when they are knowledgeable, competent, and able, but not so good when they aren't. I am knowledgeable and competent. Assertive people are people of action. So we don't just blah, 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 blah. We take action in what we say. Absolutely. They don't wait for others to lead the way, but leap in heedlessly. They can be impulsive, in consequence, and can act without thinking. 1,000,000%. I can be very impulsive, and sometimes I do things without thinking. So women are likely less assertive than men. So the average in the general population is 48 for women and 52 for men. And my one is exceptionally high, 99. Yeah, I said that before. So yeah, there you go. I am rare in the population. Next, neuroticism, which is very, very interesting. I am exceptionally low. I ranked 0. And it says here that you are exceptionally low in neuroticism, which is the primary dimension of negative emotion in the test. So neuroticism is a measure of general sensitivity to negative emotions such as pain, sadness, irritable or defensive anger, fear, or anxiety. The two aspects of neuroticism are withdrawal and volatility. I am 0% in neuroticism. So if I were 100 people in the room, I would be lower in neuroticism than all of them, which is crazy, right? People that have low levels like me, they virtually never focus on the negative elements, anxieties, and uncertainties of the past, present, and future. Absolutely. It is extremely rare for them to face periods of time where they are unhappy, anxious, and irritable, unless facing a serious, sustained, complex problem. Absolutely. Even under the latter conditions, they cope remarkably well. Bring it on, baby. I am a resilient motherfucker. Anything that you want, I overcome. They very rarely worry, and they recover extraordinarily quickly. They always keep their head in a storm, and they never make mountains out of molehills. Yes, it's true. They have exceptional levels of self-esteem, particularly when they're also average or above average in extroversion. I'm really high in extroversion. They are resistant to anxiety disorders and depression, again, particularly if average or above in extroversion, which I am. So I don't get anxiety disorders and I do not get depressed. So when good things happen to them, we can, when good things happen to them, we can appreciate it and do not question whether or not they deserve it. They are extraordinarily satisfied with their relationships and careers. Overall, they're extremely tolerant to stress and tend to breeze through even more severe failures and setbacks of life. Absolutely. So they are associated with an absence of concern about mental and physical health. Very rare physician or emergency room visits. Absolutely. I don't get sick. If I do get sick, it means something major happened in my life, which was very important for me. Yeah. So I'm the type of person that you just wake up one day and you're like, oh, you got cancer today. It's time. Yeah. When like just out of the blue. So exceptionally low levels of neuroticism are associated with an absence of concern about mental and physical health, very rare physician or emergency room visits, and almost no absenteeism at work. Absolutely. I don't take off at work. And school. Absolutely. I am reliable. Oh, that scared me. So people with extremely low levels of neuroticism are very good at tolerating risk. If they're average of high in extraversion, which is true, or openness, they may even enjoy it. Yeah. I like taking risks. They remain calm in the face of an extreme uncertainty. They can thrive in recreational, career, financial, and social situations where the possibility of loss is higher, and they can consider and implement career changes and other transformations that could enhance their lives with exceptional ease, like a breeze. So females tend to be higher in neuroticism than males. The typical woman is higher in neuroticism than 60% of the general population of men and women combined. In part, this may be why women report more unhappiness in their relationships at work, in school, with their health than men on average, and why women initiate 70% of all divorces. Yeah. This difference in neuroticism between men and women appears to emerge at puberty. It is largest in countries such as Norway and Sweden, where the most has been done to ensure equality of outcomes between the sexes. They provide strong evidence that biological factors rather than environment and learning account for the dissimilarity. Withdrawal. I am exceptionally low in withdrawal. I am on the 1% for withdrawal. So if I were with 100 people in a room, I would be lower in withdrawal than 98% of them and higher in withdrawal than one of them. Yeah. The other aspect of neuroticism is volatility. So individuals exceptionally low in withdrawal virtually never suffer from or are impeded by anticipatory anxiety. Absolutely. They can handle new, uncertain, unexpected, threatening, or complex situations extremely well from the emotional perspective. They are extremely unlikely to avoid or withdraw in the face of the unknown and unexpected. Absolutely. People with exceptionally low levels of withdrawal feel sad, lonesome, disappointed, and grief-stricken very infrequently. And if they do, they feel these emotions briefly and do to much or lesser degree. So this is the way my life rolls. Something happens. I get upset. I can be upset at that moment and drive in my misery of drama. And then soon later, you're going to find that I just overpass that and go to the next step. I don't stick in those emotions for a very long time. My life tends to be marked free of doubt, worry, embarrassment, self-consciousness, and discouragement, even in the face of genuine threat and punishment. Yes, you can put me in a pack of wolves and I'll survive. Yeah. They are resistant to and rarely worried about social rejection because it has nothing to do with me. And they almost never feel hurt or threatened. Absolutely not. It has nothing to do with me. It has to do with you. Nothing to do with me. Even when actually hurt, frightened, or anxious, I recover strikingly easily and remarkably quickly. Absolutely. People with very low levels of withdrawal are simply, they're not warriors. All right? So, withdrawal has been associated with activity in the brain systems that regulate passive avoidance. Women are higher in withdrawal than men. The mean percentile for women in the general population, women and men, women is 60 and for men is 40. I'm bloody, what did I say I was before? Withdrawal, exceptionally low, number 1. So I'm a weirdo. Volatility, which is exceptionally low again, puts me on the 2nd percentile in volatility. If I were with 100 people in the room, I would be lower in volatility than 97 of them and higher in volatility than 2 of them. We're extraordinarily stable and predictable in our moods. They are virtually never irritable and very rarely experience disappointment, frustration, pain, and loneliness. People find them extremely easy and calming. True. They very infrequently express their frustration, disappointment, and irritability and appear remarkable, reasonable when they do so. It's true. Even on those unusually infrequent occasions where they become stirred up, upset, angry, or irritated, they calm down almost immediately. They are not at all argumentative and almost never lose their composure. Yeah, I don't argue with people. I say what I say. You either like it or you don't like it. Whatever you feel about it doesn't make me upset or angry. You're the ones that get upset. Yeah. So even if exceptionally provoked in a dispute, a person with a very low volatility will rarely react in kind, particularly if also average and above in agreeableness. Such people remain calm and unperturbed. I never heard that word before. Unperturbed. Unperturbed. What does that mean? Maybe undisturbed? What is unperturbed? What is not worried, upset, or disquieted? Not perturbed. Unperturbed. Unperturbed. I never heard of that word before. So I'm unperturbed. Such people remain calm and unperturbed, whatever you call it, even when extraordinarily stressed. So volatile people tend to get upset if something bad does happen, while people high in withdrawal and the other aspects of neuroticism tend to be concerned that something might happen. Technically, volatility has been associated with activity in the brain systems that regulate fight, flight, or freeze. Volatility is not strongly related to political preference, either liberal or conservative. So women are higher in volatility than men. The mean percentile for women in the general population is women are 57.5 and for men is 42.5. And for me, as I said before, it was exceptionally low at 2nd. So I'm a weirdo again here. Let's talk about openness. Oh my God. It's high, 80%. You are high in openness, which is the primary dimension of creativity, artistic interest, and intelligence, particularly verbal intelligence in the Big Five personality trait scientific model. Openness is the measure of interest in novelty, art, literature, abstract thinking, philosophy, as well as sensitivity to aesthetic emotions and beauty. The two aspects of openness are intellect and aesthetics. I am 80% when it comes to openness. So if I were in 100 people, if I were one of 100 people in a room, I would be higher in openness than 80 of them and lower in openness than 19 of them. So people with high levels of openness are more likely than average to be characterized by others as smart, creative, exploratory, intelligent, and visionary. So I'm considered smart, but there's more smart people out there than me. Absolutely. Absolutely. So I am very highly interested in learning and continually acquiring new abilities and skills. I'm very curious and exploratory. They find themselves unusually interested in abstract thinking, philosophy, and the meaning of belief systems and ideologies. They seek out cultural events such as movies, concert, dance. I'm a dancer. Recitals, plays, poetry readings, gallery openings, and art shows. They are very likely to enjoy writing or even to be driven to write. I write a lot. Yes, I am a writer more than a speaker, which is crazy. Yeah. I articulate myself better when I'm writing than when I'm speaking because I forget what I'm going to say. I need to write everything down. They enjoy complex, abstract ideas and love to confront unsolved problems. Yeah. What's your problem? I've got your solution. Abstract and multi-dimensional problems. They are very likely to be prolific readers with a wide range of interests. They have a typically broad and deep vocabulary. They can think and learn very quickly. They are very proficient at formulating new ideas and tend strongly to be articulate, particularly if average or above in extraversion. Absolutely. People high in openness can see old things in new ways. They can formulate any single problem in a highly diverse range of ways and can generate a very large number of problem-solving solutions. They seek change, often to make things better, but also just for the sake of change. People who are high in openness are less well adapted and tend to do less well in situations or occupations that are routinized and predictable. Yes, I don't like routine. They do not fit very well at the bottom of hierarchies. Absolutely. I only go to the top of the hierarchy, okay? They are typically ill-suited to entry-level repetitive rote positions because they are always thinking up new ways to do things, and such ideas are seldom welcome from someone at the bottom. They are radical thinkers. They shake things up, particularly if they're also disagreeable and assertive. They are somewhat more likely to be revolutionary rebels, particularly if average or below in conscientiousness. I am not a revolutionary rebel, thank God. I wouldn't want to also be that. Yeah, thank God I'm high in conscientiousness. Otherwise I will be roaming the streets, rebelling. Yeah. So individuals high in openness tend to strongly be entrepreneurial in spirit. I agree. I would never settle to be an employee, ever. I was born with that. And ever since I was a kid, I had entrepreneurship in my spirit. So they can be entrepreneurial in spirit as well as smart and creative. They have much higher than average interest in creating new ventures, sometimes for profit, sometimes for curiosity, and sometimes for personal transformation. 1,000,000%. High levels of openness appear necessary to the formation and leadership of business and other forms of complex organization, although conscientiousness appears required for the attention to detail, yes, and process management that such organizations also always need. Because people who are high in openness tend to be interested in almost everything, this can make it harder for them to settle on a single path in life, to specialize to a necessary degree, and to create an integrated identity. Absolutely. That's why I'm always open to new learning stuff, and I'm interested in everything. And I don't put my brain in one place. I go to different ways of my brain. My brain changes all the time. This problem can be exaggerated if they are high in neuroticism, which I'm not, or low in conscientiousness, which I'm not. People characterized by the combination of high openness and high neuroticism, which I'm not, often undermine their own convictions, so this is not for me. Okay, let's go to the intellect. I am high intellect. Intellect is an aspect of openness. The other aspect of openness is aesthetics. I score 82% for intellect. So if I was with 100 people, 82 of them, I will be higher in intellect, and there will be other 17 people that are higher in intellect than me. And it says here, do not confuse the personality aspect of the intellect with IQ. It has nothing to do with that. Intellect is a measure of interest in abstract ideas, essentially, while IQ is a measure of processing speed, verbal ability, working memory, and problem-solving capacity, and it is better measured with a formal IQ test. I don't think I'm very high in my IQ test. It is perfectly possible to have a high IQ and a low score on the personality trait of intellect. I am very happy that my intellect is high. That is much more better compared to the IQ, if you ask my opinion. People high in intellect are quite interested in ideas and abstract concepts. They enjoy being confronted with novel information, even when it's complex. Absolutely. They are substantially more curious and exploratory than average, and frequently like to tackle and solve problems. They will actively engage in and seek out and initiate issue-oriented discussions, and are likely to read, think about, and want to discuss idea-centered books, most frequently nonfiction. Absolutely. They are generally articulate and can formulate ideas clearly and quickly, particularly if average or higher in extraversion. They have a wide vocabulary and actively enjoy learning new things. People high in intellect will often find and generate novel creative concepts and voluntarily search for and adapt well to new experiences and situations. People high in intellect find complex, rapidly changing occupations to their liking and will generally do well at them, particularly if they're also high in conscientiousness and low in neuroticism. That's me. However, they are substantially less well suited to stable, straightforward, and more traditional occupations where the rules don't change, and will experience frequent periods of boredom and frustration in such positions. Yeah. So women are lower than men in intellect, although not in IQ, and this is probably a difference in interest. People high in intellect compared to aesthetics are more likely to prefer the sciences to the arts. The mean percentile for women in the general population is 45, and for men is 55. And I scored 82nd. Yeah, again, I'm a weirdo there. I'm a weirdo everywhere. Aesthetics, moderately high. I'm moderately high. The aesthetics reflects their creativity. People who are moderately high in aesthetics find beauty important. Without an outlet for their creative ability, they may have some difficulty thriving. They like art or beautiful crafts. They are more sensitive to color and architectural form. They often enjoy collecting. They are comparatively imaginative and may daydream and reflect on many things. They tend to enjoy music, perhaps of more than one genre, and maybe what's somewhat musical or artistic themselves. Both of these are rare in the general population. They can find themselves immersed in a book. I love books. Yeah, I'm a nerd. I love books. I love books. I read a lot. I read a lot in my life. Yeah. They can find themselves immersed in a book or a movie. I don't particularly watch movies a lot. Or in their own thoughts and become somewhat oblivious to the outer world. Yeah, leave me alone. Yeah, when I'm reading, leave me alone. I'd rather be alone. Yeah. They respond well to beauty, creativity, or art. They tend not to be impractical or flighty. At least moderate levels of creativity appear necessary for entrepreneurial success and prove comparatively useful at the top of hierarchies, even in very conservative occupations such as banking, accounting, and law, which need creative people in leadership positions to provide a new vision and direction. Women are higher in aesthetics than men. Mean percentile for women in the general population is 56.5, and for men it's 44.5. And what did I get? Aesthetics, I was 69. So I guess this is what it has to say about me. Go to understandmyself.com, part of Jordan Peterson, and take the personality test. If I was to partner up with someone, I would definitely make them take this test, because as you see, I'm a very different, extraordinary type of person, and I don't belong in the general population. My scores are extremely rare. It's very difficult to find somebody that matches my energy. Yeah, this is who I am, and congratulations to me.